Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. This week's episode of WWE SmackDown witnessed a major development in the Bloodline saga, with Solo Sikoa silently leaving the venue soon after making his entrance. This happened when Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga initially disrupted the Jimmy Uso vs. Carmelo Hayes match. Solo made his first appearance after losing the Ula Fala to Roman Reigns. He grabbed the mic but soon left the ring without uttering a word and exited the venue. This action from Sikoa sparked a confused reaction from Jacob Fatu, indicating that he might be unhappy with Sikoa's behavior. Afterward, the Samoan werewolf blamed the live crowd's negative reactions as the reason for Solo's silence. However, Jacob Fatu might probably attempt to take over the new bloodline and bring Journey Fatu to WWE as a potential replacement for Solo Sikoa. For those who may not know, Journey Fatu is a real-life bloodline member. The 28-year-old star is currently competing in independent wrestling promotions. Just a few months ago, Rikishi introduced Journey on his official Instagram account by posting a picture of him, sparking speculation about his WWE debut. The current scenario presents a great opportunity for Triple H to introduce Journey Fatu into the Bloodline saga. In a potential storyline, the Samoan werewolf could express his frustration over Solo Sikoa's actions and his loss to Roman Reigns, resulting in the loss of the Ula Fala. Consequently, he could declare his takeover of the faction and introduce Journey Fatu as the replacement for the former Ula Fala holder. This angle would not only sensibly incorporate the 320-pound real-life bloodline member into the family drama, but also elevate Jacob Fatu by positioning him as the new leader of the faction. Overall, the upcoming episodes of SmackDown will be interesting to watch, especially after Solo Sikoa's silence this week. Jacob Fatu could soon make a major declaration after Solo Sikoa's action on WWE SmackDown. Soon after Solo Sikoa exited the venue, Jacob Fatu cut a passionate promo asserting his dominance now that the new bloodline is without the Ula Fala. It's possible that the Samoan werewolf could soon declare his entry for the upcoming Royal Rumble 2025 traditional match. The 32-year-old star might state his intention to regain momentum for Bloodline 2.0 by promising domination in the Rumble match. Jacob's entry into the over-the-top rope battle could be a great way to integrate him into the WWE Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Furthermore, this could help WWE establish him as a single star, beyond being merely a member of the new bloodline. The lights dimmed across the WWE arena, the crowd erupting into a frenzy as the familiar opening beats of the Island of Relevancy echoed through the speakers. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, walked out onto the stage with the weight of the WWE Universe on his shoulders. He carried the same air of dominance that had made him the face of the company. But something was different tonight. The crowd murmured, some wondering if it was the absence of his loyal enforcer, Solo Sikoa, or the quiet yet commanding presence of someone far more dangerous than even the Usos could have anticipated. The rumors had been swirling for weeks. Solo Sikoa, despite his brutalizing style and unrelenting loyalty to Roman Reigns, had become a little too predictable for the ever-evolving bloodline. His presence on SmackDown was undeniable, but Roman, ever the strategist, realized that his family needed something stronger, something that could take them to new heights. The cracks in the bloodline's empire had started to show, and now, the tribal chief needed a new enforcer, someone who could leave the entire WWE locker room shaking in fear. Someone who could stand side by side with the Usos as a threat even to the most intimidating of competitors. Roman knew just the man for the job. As Roman made his way to the ring, the arena buzzed with speculation. Would the bloodline remain intact, or was a major shakeup on the horizon? And then it happened. Roman raised his hand, signaling for silence as his deep voice boomed across the arena. "The bloodline is stronger than ever," Roman began, his eyes narrowing as he glanced toward the entrance ramp. "But there is one thing we're missing. Someone who understands what it means to be a true enforcer. Someone who will take the fight to anyone who dares challenge us. That's why tonight, I bring you the future of the bloodline. A man who knows what it takes to dominate. A man who stands at 6'5", weighs 320 pounds, and whose legacy as a member of the bloodline runs deeper than any of you can imagine. The crowd erupted into confusion and curiosity as the unmistakable sound of a heavy guitar riff filled the arena. A new theme song, one that wasn't familiar to anyone in the WWE universe, began to play. And then, from behind the curtain, stepped none other than Jacob Fatu. Jacob, the 320-pound powerhouse, walked confidently to the ring, his muscles rippling beneath his black singlet. His presence felt almost as soon as his foot hit the steel steps. The crowd gasped as they realized who it was. Jacob Fatu wasn't just a name. They recognized him from his days in MLW and his historic lineage as a member of the Anoa'i family. The same bloodline that ran through the veins of Roman Reigns, the Usos, and even Rikishi. But Jacob wasn't just a name. He was a beast. His immense size and brutal fighting style made him one of the most dangerous men in professional wrestling. And now, it was clear that Roman Reigns had brought him into the fold to become the enforcer the bloodline so desperately needed. "Solo," Roman said, nodding toward his former enforcer, who stood in the corner with a glare etched on his face. "You've been a loyal member of the bloodline, but Jacob Fatu here, he's going to take us to the next level. This man doesn't just fight, he destroys. And that's what the bloodline needs right now." Jacob stepped into the ring, his towering frame making Roman appear almost small by comparison. He looked over at Solo, who was slowly walking toward him, sizing him up. Solo was still loyal to the bloodline, but there was no denying the change in the air now that Jacob had arrived. He had a certain level of intensity that Solo simply couldn't match. The crowd erupted into loud cheers and boos as Jacob raised his hand, signaling for silence. "I'm not here to take anyone's spot. I'm here to take over," he growled. "The bloodline isn't just about Roman Reigns anymore. It's about power, about family, about dominance. I will show each and every one of you what it means to mess with the family. And if you think Solo Sikoa was tough, you haven't seen anything yet." Jacob's voice echoed through the arena, filled with a commanding intensity that demanded attention. The crowd could feel the difference between Jacob and Solo. Where Solo exuded a quiet but deadly aura, Jacob was loud, unapologetic, and ready to break anyone who got in his way. Roman Reigns nodded approvingly. "This is the future of the bloodline. This is the next generation of our family's reign of dominance. With Jacob Fatu by my side, no one will be able to touch us." At that moment, Jacob turned toward the Usos. Jimmy and Jay stood side by side, unsure of how to respond to this major change. Jacob was their family, but this new dynamic felt like a shift in the power structure. "Don't worry, Usos," Jacob said, his voice softening slightly. "We're family, and when it's time to take over, we do it together." Juso, still processing the enormity of this announcement, grinned. "If you're part of the bloodline, you're family. And family doesn't let family down." The tension in the arena was palpable as the new enforcer of the bloodline stood tall. Fans who had once feared Solo Sikoa now found themselves questioning whether Jacob Fatu was even more dangerous. The man was a machine, and he carried himself with a confidence that would make even the most seasoned WWE superstars hesitate before crossing him. As the weeks went by, Jacob's presence on SmackDown became even more undeniable. The Usos, while initially unsure of their new enforcer, quickly embraced him as a vital piece of the bloodline's dominance. Together, they wreaked havoc on the SmackDown roster, laying waste to anyone who dared challenge the power of Roman Reigns and his family. In the ring, Jacob proved why he was the perfect choice to replace Solo Sikoa. His brutal strength, his ruthless efficiency, and his unyielding will to destroy were all on full display. He showed the WWE Universe that he was more than just a member of the Anoa'i family. He was a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, Solo Sikoa's absence was felt. Some fans wondered if he would ever return to the bloodline. But for now, Jacob Fatu was the enforcer Roman Reigns had sought to elevate the family's power even higher. The bloodline was stronger than ever. But the question remained, how long could Jacob Fatu remain loyal, and what would it take for him to claim his spot as the true head of the bloodline? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain. With Jacob in the fold, Roman Reigns' empire was poised to dominate WWE for years to come.